for those who haven't heard it, will you tell the Cowboy Lang story from what we believe to have happened in Morgan City, Louisiana, at the Morgan City Civic Center? Can you tell the Cowboy Lang story for the listeners who haven't heard this
Yeah,
story before? Give a little background of it and all that good stuff.
Cowboy Lang was one of the pioneer midget wrestlers, for lack of a better term. Don't anybody start sending me hate mail about little people or whatever. They referred to themselves to me as midgets. So
I say that too, Bo. This is
yeah,
on 2 weeks ago on the show. I said the same thing. I was like, midget. Wait, never mind. Little person. I'm trying to be sensitive here. Whatever it is, the correct term. That's what I mean. So I'm laughing. That's why I'm laughing. I'm not laughing
yeah.
at midget. I'm laughing because I want the right term used. So, but yeah, go ahead.
But he was one of Little Brook's guys. Little Brook had all the little guys and booked them out to the territories. And as a kid, I saw Cowboy Lang live several times here with Mid-Atlantic and the Knoxville office when they would bring him to the Tri-Cities. And it was usually him against Little Tokyo, which was a great match. And if the only thing that you know about micro wrestling or little people wrestling or midget wrestling is what you see out there in the bars now or on TV now, these guys were true wrestlers. They may have did some comedy, but they were grown men making a living, wrestling, traveling the world, and taking care of their families and furthering themselves in the business. And there was a place for them because they were all talented, especially Little Brook's guys. Butch Cassidy, who is from Knoxville area, trained with Little Brook and has been a friend of mine for 30 years now. And, I've always said pound for pound, he's one of the greatest wrestlers I've ever seen. The problem was he was right at 5 foot. He was too little for us and he was too big for the midgets. So Butch was kind of stuck in the middle there. I think if he would have came along now, they probably could have found something for him to do. But Cowboy Lang is one of those legendary guys that traveled the territories. And I mean, he was in Mid-South. He was in Dallas. He was in Portland. He worked every territory, New York. And he's just one of those guys that everybody knew. And he had came in, Dundee had brought him into Louisiana for Watts right when the Rock and Roll Express was there and was getting hot and over. And every town that rock and roll went to, they couldn't get to the ring because women were kissing them and molesting them and trying to rip their clothes off. And, Mike, you grew up down there. You knew how over they were.
Oh man, it was like they were as popular and as over as anybody that you've ever seen. I mean, in wrestling.
And
they had a couple year span. I mean, Ricky and Robert, they had women draped all over them. I mean, they were rock stars.
So one night in what we believe is Morgan City, and I hope that's the right town because I'm looking here too. It also says that Ernie Ladd lived in Franklin, Louisiana.
Could have been Franklin. Franklin's they've got a civic center too. Patterson's got one as well. I've been in all those buildings.
Whatever. I'd heard this story forever from Ricky and Robert both. As long as I've known them, they had told this Cowboy Lang story. And me and Ricky were down there. This was the last time WrestleMania was in New Orleans. We went in a month ahead of time and did all kinds of promotion for Matt Riviera and his Mid-South reunion. And the week that we were down there, we went down to somebody was running that building, that town. We went down there. Ricky knew where Ernie Ladd lived. We actually drove by and looked at Ernie Ladd's house. He showed me where he lived. And he said, tonight is the building where the Cowboy Lang story happened. And I started laughing. As soon as he said it, Ricky had his son and his son's friend with us, who went to New Orleans with us for a week. And they had never heard it. So when we got to the building, Ricky told the story. And it's one of those classic old buildings, stage on one end, and then a horseshoe out with balcony and bleachers on the bottom, ringside seats. Just one of those classic old wrestling buildings that you only find in the southeastern United States. And the dressing rooms were up off the side of the stage. And Ricky said sometimes when they were there, they would put bleachers on that stage because they sold out the building and they're trying to get as many more people in there as they can. So him and Robert are standing there waiting for the music to hit to go to the ring. And some girl had got up on the stage and had snuck back into the hallway. And she comes around the corner, and there's Ricky and Robert standing waiting to go, and she starts screaming Rock and Roll Express and running at them. Well, as she gets close to them, she sees behind them Cowboy Lang standing there naked. He had just come out of the shower after wrestling. And she started to say, look at his cute little butt. And she said, look at his cute, oh my God, look at his penis. But she didn't say penis.
Let me guess. Legend has it that Cowboy Lang had a third leg.
Yes.
He was a tripod.
Yeah, life is not fair always. Some of these little guys, and as I told on Between the Sheets, I was a kid breaking in. Butch Cassidy used to walk around naked in the dressing room, and the boys used to tell him, "Hey, Butch, don't step on that thing." So
It's the Cowboy Lang. That was a good one, man. I had never heard that one.
And now we have a big man, little man tag team match. This event is for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. In the red corner, from New York City, Tom Stanton. And his great big partner from the Lone Star State of Texas, Cowboy Lang.